For many years, Judd Lin, one of Power Rangers' producers and writers, had wanted to do more things with the show. One of his ideas was to have the series go into space. We had small bits of that with the Alien Rangers, the Power Transfer, and Tray of Triforia, but budget and having to deal with Sentai footage prevented him from ever doing it. When the initial footage of the next Sentai season was being reviewed, Lin almost got his wish. Megaranger had space elements, but it was still all on Earth. This didn't deter the team. They bet the farm on going forward with this new direction. It was also their final chance. After the conclusion of Power Rangers Turbo, the series went on life support. It's been slowly losing people, but Turbo caused a large enough drop where Saban was intending to end the series with Season 6. I was a part of that loss. In Space and Lost Galaxy are the only two seasons I didn't watch when they originally aired. To say Power Rangers in Space was a Hail Mary is an understatement. Space was adapted from Sentai Season 21, Denji Sentai Megaranger. Its main theme was all about computers, video games, and technology. It was right at the boom of the internet. The Megaranger powers were developed by an organization called iNet, led by Dr. Kubota. They hid the Megarangers as a video game arcade system where they recruited people that were highly skilled at the game. A threat began forming in another dimension called the Negiregia that they had found a year prior. Every design of the Megaranger system was influenced by this idea. Each of the suits have attack and defensive ratings, special attacks, and even button combos for finishers. The most hilarious thing from Megaranger, Power Rangers was finally getting away from the high school setting after 4 years, and here comes Megaranger with the characters being seniors in high school. You could not ask for a more different season than what Megaranger did to what Power Rangers was setting up. A lot of changes had to happen very quickly and with little money as possible. The first thing they tackled, fan issues. Justin was let go for various story changes needed for space and backlash to the character. A second problem was Alpha 6's voice. I didn't bother mentioning it, but Turbo's Alpha 6 was absolutely horrible. They were trying to replicate the likable nature of Alpha 5, but they had this annoying New York accent, so Alpha's voice was damaged and replaced with his final voice used for the remainder of the character's run until Operation Overdrive changed it again. Space had to keep as much as possible from Megaranger, only removing things that did not work, like the video game theme, anything goofy, and human characters. To get the story to work, in some cases, they even shot original Zord fights again. This season retained a lot of the names of gear and mecha, including reusing Megaranger's henshin footage with minor changes. Bulk and Skull were kept on, but with a new addition, Professor Phononymous, as well as introducing us to Edel and her surf spot, removing Lieutenant Stone and Ernie's juice bar. This and the reduced use of Bulk and Skull was probably caused by budget limitations and needing more time to focus on the search for Zordon. As for Megaranger's original story, everything started with a big invasion from the Negiregia dimension. It's a little mix of O-Ranger and a throwback to the 1980s type Sentai villains. This invasion was led by Dr. Hinalar and his subordinates, Shibolina, Yagande, Bibi Debbie, and later Grill. Shibolina, Dr. Hinalar, and Bibi Debbie were removed, while Yagande and Grill were kept. They kept some of Grill's plotline. Ecliptor was mostly changed from what Megaranger did with him. This caused footage problems. Remember, over time, Ecliptor's body kept changing? Space ignored that part of his plot. Originally, Yagande was being killed off and rebuilt with improvements. Dark Spectre was loosely based off the actual main baddie from the Negiregia dimension, including his part in the Psycho Ranger story. With the removal of the video game and computer system parts of Megaranger, a lot of the abilities were simplified or cut, and they had to heavily edit around all the video game references. Megaranger loved doing fighting game windscreen text after each of the fights. Let's look at the gear. The Morphers did keep most of the functions seen in Megaranger, including their codes. To morph with the Astro Morpher, you lift up your left arm horizontally while extending your right arm out, then call out the activation line, "Let's rock it." After that, open the lid and input the code 335, enter. Megarangers is pretty much the same, except their callout is install Megaranger, since their suits are digital and are being downloaded. This also acts as the brace's security feature. You can't use the digitizer without the proper voice pattern. The Digimorpher follows a similar sequence. The morpher is opened, then call out "Let's rock it," followed by inputting its code 2580, enter. For the K-Tizer, twist your torso to the left with your left hand in a upward fist, turn back to the right. The call for it is install. One of the biggest things Space created was the series Battlizer. This is Power Ranger's mostly exclusive ability. It wasn't in Megaranger, but the battlizer item did come from it. The name was a play on its original Japanese name, Battlizer. The first two functions were called the Riser Chop and the Riser Punch, as well as a sub-mode where it shot lasers. The third mode originally wasn't usable. Later on was upgraded to enable a power boost to Mega Red's Drill Saber Custom. For the Ranger suits, Megaranger gave much more detail on their abilities. Due to the removal of the video game side, all the stats were dropped and most of the special functions of each Ranger had were unexplained or altered. Originally, the Mega suits are the third iteration from iNet. They were intended to be space-used suits for astronauts. That's why they're able to travel in space. The first versions made were the Neji Ranger suits, aka the Psycho Rangers. The designs were rejected, so a second attempt was done with a silver prototype suit that had a 2.5 minute limit. This suit ended up being used for Mega Silver. It was not intended for actual combat, refinements were made, and the main team Mega suits were created. Each Ranger has different stats and abilities. For example, Mega Black has the highest strength. Mega Red and Pink share the highest movement speed. They could run 100 meters per second for a duration of 3 and 5 seconds respectively. Space unfortunately didn't use the suit's abilities all that often. It was probably because a lot of them were video game focused and wouldn't make much sense. Red's computer gave him combat storage, allowing him to remember enemy attacks. Black's satellite controlled communications and his suit power output. Mega Blue and Yellow had many functions, mostly cut from space, some instances repurposed, mainly because they involved the original Mega Ranger grunts. They were replaced with the Quantrons. Their digital TV and cameras could create a virtual space and transport enemies with them. This is where the Simu-Deck footage and Craterites are from. Other features are Yellow's ability to see invisible enemies and find their weak points. Blue can generate a 3D image for his HUD or project a hologram, as well as restore dimensional space from a Neji incursion. Pink's cell phone can examine radio waves and broadcast transmissions. Silver's computer chip ability grants him access to all the Mega Suit abilities. When the suits are not active, they are stored back at the arcade's Mega Ranger video game, most likely as a way to prevent them from falling into the wrong hands if iNet was ever compromised. But somewhat of a dick move when they're called, the game stops functioning. I'd be pissed if they disappeared in the middle of a match. The main team comes with their sidearm, the Mega Sniper. Space only gave a name for its full mode, while the separated weapons are called the Mega Magnum and the Mega Shot. Their sidearms can also be combined with their primary weapons. Space called all of them Booster Mode, but Mega Ranger got unique names: Drill Sniper, Rod Sniper, Tomahawk Sniper, Sling Sniper, and Capture Sniper. Space mostly cut out the Drill Sniper mode, going for using Drill Sniper Custom, which was added later in the season when Red's weapon was destroyed by a monster. The upgrade plotline was ignored. Their primary weapons are called the Drill Saber, Mega Rod, Mega Tomahawk, Mega Sling, and Mega Capture, and Silver Blazer. And for the sub-team combo, Quadro Blaster, it was originally called the Multi-Attack Rifle. On the vehicle side, the Galaxy Gliders were originally called the Cyber Sliders 1 through 5. I guess they removed the numbering to deal with TJ being blue, and Mega Ranger Mega Black is second in command. Last, the Silver Cycle is called the Auto Slider. For the Mega Tank, Space didn't bother naming the Digi-Hand or the Digital Particle Cannon. Now for Space's Zords, this is the first time the majority of the names were left as is, although they were lucky in a few cases, like with Galaxy Mega. It wasn't written in the front of the cockpit. The Astro Megazord has access to a saber, shield, and blaster. I didn't even know where the blaster came from at first, till I noticed it was the booster rockets. The Delta Mega lucked out working with Power Rangers' naming scheme. The Delta Lasers didn't get named, but the Gatling Blasters were called the Gyro Blasters, and the Astral Delta Megazord was originally called the Super Galaxy Mega. Mega Voyager was left as is, however the individual Zords were named after the labels shown on the outside. Originally each one had a name: Row Voyager 1, Shuttle Voyager 2, Rocket Voyager 3, Saucer Voyager 4, and Tank Voyager 5. You can actually still see them in the footage if you look back in their individual cockpits. The Voyager Shield wasn't named in space, and the V3 rocket was called Voyager Spartan. They also kept its combo with the Mega Winger as is. For Silver Zord, they had to keep everything as well, with just changing flyer mode to spaceship mode and fighter mode to warrior mode. Finally, the Wing Blaster was originally called the Winger Cannon. There's a lot I still have to cover, but I'll leave that for part 2. The impact of Zordon's ending, Astronoma's story, Andros and Zane's homeworld, the Psycho Rangers, the original Mega Ranger storyline, how the monsters were used in space, the 2 great team-up episodes, and even the annoying Sylvie, who did come from a Mega Ranger story. A huge undertaking for the writers and team to pull off. Thanks again for watching. If you have a comment or topic you'd like me to cover, leave a comment down below, and I may use it.